Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Beth, and today I was thinking, well, actually here lately, I've been thinking about painting some animals. And it's not that I'm that good at painting animals. I just feel like I want to try it. So I'm going to give it a go. This was just this adorable little squirrel that I saw online, and I thought I would mess around with him a little bit and see if I could maybe get him to look halfway decent. I don't know. We're just going to find out. I've done animals before that looked pretty decent. This one is a little brown and gray squirrel. So I've never done a squirrel in watercolor, so I don't know if I can do one or not. We'll find out, I guess. And the colors, I must say his belly is a nice ochre. Maybe a little bit lighter than an ochre, but that's how I'm going to start with it. And we're just going to paint in, I think I'm going to paint in most of the squirrel with ochre because that's sort of the background color for the whole squirrel. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Might needs a little bit more water. That's what it needs. It's just a little bit more water, so good. I'm going to avoid the eyes because the eyes are black, and I just want them to be unmuddied. I want the black to be unmuddied by my other colors. Well, it's been a while since I did a painting video, simply because I have been so tired. I went and on the last video I did, I explained that my son was up in Buffalo, New York. See, now I live in South Carolina. Well, he was up in Buffalo, New York. He got COVID, and he had no way to get home. And so my husband and I drove from South Carolina to Buffalo to get him. It was a long drive. We did that in like 48 hours. I'm 59 years old, which is not old. I'm not saying I'm old. I'm just saying it's not young either. And my behind let me know that it was not pleased with me. So when I got home, I was just so exhausted that I have not made a video since. And I'm trying to catch up a little bit. I'm going to do this one, and I'm probably going to do another one. Maybe not today, but soon. I want to do some animals. I just want to play with it because I haven't done a lot of animals. I've done my cat, and I did a pretty decent job with my cat. But it took me loads of tries, so we'll see. Anyway, there's the background color for the little squirrel. And let's see, I kind of want to wait a minute now until, I'm going to wait a minute until this dries. And so, excuse me. So I'll be back in just a moment. So I did a little test strip. I tried to move my camera so that my hand won't be too much in the way, trying not to do that. Did a little test strip up here to see if it had dried. Looks pretty dry to me. This little squirrel has all this gray right up in here. And by the way, I am looking at a picture of this squirrel on the internet, and I'll try to link the picture underneath the video here. But I never, like a subject like a squirrel that I don't draw that often, trust me, I am not going to try to draw that sucker from, by hand. I traced him. So, this little fella was traced. And that way, I'm not so worried that, I'm going to totally mess it up. Let me pull some of that color down here. Well, for some reason, that's a little bit darker than the other. Don't know why. come back down here with it. And just his whole little head is speckled, and it's got like the fur, you can kind of see some of that yellow ochre coming through. He's a very cute little fellow. He's got his little hands clasped like that. It's so cute. And then you have maybe a little brown mixed in with the black there. And you have it on his little nose. So I'm going to try. You just see this little thing coming down. Oh, it's so cute. Little nose is so cute. I may use some pen on this too, some ink, because little part, I don't know whether I will or not, because a little part of his mouth is very thin, and it might make me nervous to try to do that without, without the assistance of a fine marker. Okay, so there's, and then it kind of goes up around his eye like this, the black does. And I mean, it's all up in here, but you're just making these tiny little strokes, right? It's really very delicate work. And, maybe this is not your thing. It's not always my thing either. I may try to do another one really loose and see how that works. We shall see. I kind of like doing the more detailed work. You really have to take your time. This is a thing I'm learning. When I see a video that is really sped up and it looks like, the person who did this picture, this gorgeous, it's always gorgeous, right? This gorgeous picture just did it in like 20 minutes. When in fact, it took more like 2 hours. And we're just seeing it sped up, so. I'm not speeding it up. I want you to see how long it takes me. Every agonizing moment, you get to be a part of it. It's not agonizing. It just takes some time, right? Just take some time. Just take your time and do a good job, because that's when you get excited about it and you're like, oh, that's so cool because I actually did that. I can't believe I actually did that. And it's pretty cool when you realize that you did, and that it looks decent, and people can figure out that's a squirrel. That to me was just the most amazing thing in the world, is people could come as a cat. It's like, really? You can tell? That's so cool. So I can get a little bit longer strokes right here. Is my hand in the way? No, I hope not. Bad about that. Yes, I am. So we're going to come down here, and he's got this little haunch right here, which I want to be darker, a darker black right in there, a little haunch. And then maybe right above it, outlined in a little ochre, because that kind of just defines it, and it gives you a little highlight. And then his little fur comes down this way. So it doesn't have to take forever, but it's you do want to take your time on it. You can walk away. That's a thing that I learned. Oh my gosh, I can walk away from this and I can come back and feel fresh and maybe do a better job, right? It's too much black. Okay, let's get a little bit more muted than that. There we go. And we're just going to come on down. He's really, the strokes, if I were going to be really super realistic, the strokes would be so tiny, they would be like that, but I'm not trying to, get that far into realism. I kind of like the painterly look, as they say, painterly. I think that's a funny word. I started an Etsy shop because some of my friends wanted paintings, and they went, oh, we want to pay you. I was like, no, you don't. Okay. Oh, yeah, we do. So I started an Etsy shop, and I had some of my paintings in there. And of course, friends, they're sweet. They want to buy them. And They did. And I called it Painterly Beth. That's what made me think about it. Painterly Beth. I thought it was a stupid name. To be honest with you, it's kind of a dumb name. But you know what? I couldn't think of a better one. But I just think that's a funny word. Painterly. Okay, here we go on his tail. It's bushy. His tail's going to be bushier than it is in the photo. If you look at the photo, which like I said, I'll try to remember to put that in the description box. His tail's not very bushy, and it kind of just goes down and out of the picture, out of the frame, so you don't really see it. But it's okay. He's got his little hands. His little hands are going to be what's hard to do, I'm afraid, because they're very detailed. So we'll see. And we've got this little right in here, very dark black. Let me just come in here with a nice dark black. I don't want that to go out on me. Okay. Because I'm looking at the computer while doing the painting. I'm looking up at the computer drawing while doing this. And there's a little shadow underneath his arms. And on his toes, just between his toes, we've got a little black there. And on his little nails, you know, he's got these little toenails. So we'll do those too. All right, and you know, his foot comes back that way a little bit. It just makes me think of cartoons with those big feet. Okay, so how now should I proceed with the arms? Because there's some gray coming down this way, so let's get that in. There's some gray coming down the arm. I'll get a little more black in that. Okay. And it just kind of proceeds on down here. So you can see the little bit of shadow. Okay, kind of like that. I'll just fill it in a little bit. And you can use some negative painting to show that there's fur under here. That's it's that yellow ochre color. Okay, and he's got some little kind of wrinkles in his, got some little fat wrinkles right there. And then the upper part of his little arm goes down like that too. Okay, and then he's got, I just want to differentiate a little bit of the fur going down that way. I'm sorry, I'm mumbling again, aren't I? So sorry. I want to differentiate some of the fur going down his back. I want to make sure that it's standing out. All right, and then his little hands have shadows. Right here, these little fingers. Little squirrel fingers. They're so adorable. It's just hard not to fall in love with these little creatures. I realize that they're rodents. I know that. But they're just so adorable. Black. All right, and then he's got little fingers over here. See, that's too much black. Let's get some of that off. He's got these little fingers over here. Okay. He's like holding his little paws together over here, like he really wants you to like him. And then we have some little bits of black and gray right in here. Sometimes these little animals that I paint they make their way into my dreams at night. And most of the time it's okay. I don't know about you, but my dreams make 0 sense. None. They're just weird. his eye in. Because I want to. Okay, so cute. Yeah, this looks better when the eye is painted in, doesn't it? Then we're going to put a little bit of black right underneath his nose. Just like that. You know what? I will try to paint his mouth with this brush. Oh, I did a pretty good job, didn't I? Huh. What do you know? Okay. Just little whiskery things coming out that way. Little whiskers. You're so cute. And then a little bit more up here, coming down his nose. And then he's got, let's see, he's got just a much lighter gray on the side of his face. Don't mumble. I'm not gonna mumble. I'm trying. Okay, here we go. A much lighter gray. Right there. Little Mr. Adorable. All right, and then we have a little gray mouth. He seems to be very smiley and happy. Little gray mouth. And a little chin right there. And some of the belly looks like this. Okay, let's get his little toes shaded in. Just like that. And okay. I mean, you know, it's not done. It's not done. Let's work on what part. There's a little bit of gray on his fur coming out this way and coming out this way. That kind of differentiates the arm from the rest of the body. And then his leg, there's just a tiny bit of very faint gray right here. And then maybe over here. And the rest of it is a rock. He's standing on a rock. That's what this is. And I'm going to attempt to paint the rock too. But anyway, he's turning out okay. Yeah, he's all right. How about a squirrel? Another buddy? Let's name him. What should we name him? Maybe it's a girl. Maybe it's a girly squirrely. Okay. I think I am going to say that that's about it, you know, except for the rock. And I hope that the rock will not pose too much of a problem. The rock is made of a lot of the same colors. So there's this gray on the rock, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of block that in. Some of it is very dark, and some of it is lighter. And it's got a lot of interesting colors in it. I'm not sure I'm going to go all crazy on the colors. I want the rock to be more simple than the squirrel so that your attention is on the squirrel and not the rock. So let's just kind of make a typical little rock here. I'm not going to go crazy. It does have some pretty colors in it, so let's include a few pretty colors, like a little bit of the, you know, we'll put some of the colors that are in the squirrel on it. A little ochre here and there. And then, believe it or not, it's got some blues in it. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of blue and put that in the rock. I think the blue will be a nice contrast to the colors in the squirrel, and I like that. So I will include that. And it's got some reds as well. The reds, I'm going to go a little bit lighter on those. Just here and there, just a few dots. And that's the rock that he's on. And we can, if you want to, you can just come back around him and just drop a little bit of green in the background because he is kind of in the forest. I guess he is. He's really more or less standing in front of a tree. And I don't want to paint a tree. So I'm just going to drop in some green in the background. A couple of different colors of green because, nature is just not just one green. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to overdo this. Just a little bit of that in the background. And we drop in various shades. There we go. I think that's a pretty convincing little squirrel myself. At least you can, like I said, at least you can understand, at least you know what it is. You look at it and you go, oh, it's a squirrel. And if you didn't say that, then please don't let me know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You didn't know what it was. All right. I think I'm going to call it a day. There's my little squirrel. You know what? He needs a little bit of a shadow. Even though in the picture he doesn't have a shadow, I am going to give him just a little bit of a shadow under here. A little bit. Let's go for some brown and black together, and we'll just give him a little shadow because he deserves to be grounded, don't you think? He deserves that much. All right, here's the problem. I slept on this. I was going to end it right there. I slept on it and looked at the squirrel again the next day, and it just falls flat. Let's just put it that way. It falls flat. And I think it's because I did this on from a photograph. And if you see the photograph, you can see that the light is directly on the squirrel, and so the squirrel looks a little, flat. So what I'm going to do, at least what I'm going to attempt to do, is give this squirrel a little bit of, a little bit of dimension. So he's going to have more shadow in my picture than he does in the picture that I painted. And I'm going to begin by just rounding him out here. Let's see. Let's see what we can do with him. Really, taking your time on this stuff is also about coming back to it after the fact and taking a second look at it. I also think this right here needs to be rounded out a little bit. I don't know why I think that, I just do think it. He needs maybe not so much black there. Let's see. Let's do more of an ochre there. This mixed in with some browns, and we're just going to give him some shadow in there right around his foot and right under here as well, because this is what rounds the squirrel out. He's not flat like this. He needs to be three-dimensional. So does that help any? I kind of think it does. I think that already helps a little bit. Let's come down here under his chin. We'll give that a little round. I'm not saying that this is the perfect painting of this squirrel because obviously it's not. I think if I had done this looking at a live squirrel, it might be better. The problem with that is they move around like little tiny tornadoes, and it's hard to get them to sit still long enough to do anything that you want to, to draw the picture the way you want it to be drawn. Try try a different brush here. Let's get a little bit more of that brown, or a darker brown. And we're just going to come in here on the nose. A little highlight right there. And then I'm also going to come in here with some brown and some black. And let's differentiate between those little squirrel fingers because it makes a difference. I've got to be able to see where things are. All right. Might do some deeper shadow in there. See, I'm already liking better. Let's come down here and let's do this deeper shadow as well. This foot, that foot really is what did it for me. This foot, it just looked pasted right there on the screen. I think that's why I put the shadow in, because the shadow for me was going to help pull the squirrel out a little bit, but that is not what was needed. What was needed was not that shadow underneath the squirrel, but shadows on the squirrel. Honestly, I think that's what was needed. So let's give it what it needs and just see if that helps any. Hopefully it will. Honestly, just let your paintings sit for even a day or two. Go back to them and you'll start seeing the things that you need to do. Or the things that aren't right. And maybe what you do works and maybe it doesn't, and you know, it's just going to be hit and miss sometimes. But I think I'm going to have that light coming a little bit stronger on one side than the other, because I believe it's important. And then I'm just going to take this black right along the back of the squirrel. Let's just give him a little bit of dimension. I hope that works. I hope that helps. To make my little squirrel happier than he was. I think that maybe the mouth didn't need it. I'll just take that off. The mouth didn't need it. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you will click like and subscribe if you did. Remember to take your time with your paintings. Come back to them later and make sure that you've got what you really want. I think it turned out okay. We'll try it again on another day. Thanks for watching.